network around this motherfucker. Get work, get hurt.
Yo, what up? It's your boy, 6'3" black male. I've been kind of thinking about some things. And it's I've already said something about this stuff, but I want to go even deeper into it. I'm thinking about those guys like Mouse Jones and what Lord Jamar had said, and I think Nick Cannon even said it in so many words that hip hop is a black art form, and the artist should be black. They don't want white people involved in the artistry of it. So that also would mean you don't want white people involved in the foundations of it. So you want to read hip hop history of the Beastie Boys and Third Base basically, and you want to read all the white rappers who have ever been in the game, Eminem especially. You want to get rid of all them. Okay. So now you got to get rid of Rick Rubin, okay? And you got to get rid of all the record company execs who were not black that signed early artists, okay? Now, if you do that, you also got to get rid of the venues like Madison Square Garden and Staples Center and stuff like that because black people don't own them, okay? Now that you got rid of all that stuff, how big is hip hop? Think about it now. You can't have most of your British artists, the artists from the UK, your Asian artists. We even got um, Hindu, Indian artists, Arab artists. We got German, even French, even Italian hip hop artists who would they're not black, so they would be disqualified. So now you really lessen the reach of hip hop. And if you want, whether you want to admit it or not, when Third Base started their thing, it was white boys who they saw that and they were like, yeah. So they started listening and they listened to Third Base and that opened them up to other groups. Then let's move down the line. Well, we can start with the Beastie Boys, same thing. But then you go to Third Base, that's another level. Then let's move down the line to corny ass Vanilla Ice. Believe it or not, he actually opened up the culture a little bit more. With how corny he was, it don't matter. It was white people who seen that and they dressed it and they tried to act like it and they listened to bubblegum hip hop. But they listened to hip hop. And then we move down the line to the Paul Walls and Bubba Sparks. And so you got more white boys who got into it. Then Eminem, we talk Eminem. Now, I'm not doing them chronologically, but I'm saying Eminem. Do you know how many fans gravitated to hip hop because of Eminem? How many white fans who had never listened to rap before Eminem became diehard stans, started listening to Royce, started listening to Slaughterhouse, started listening to these other artists. Some of them never even listened to Dr. Dre's production, started fucking with Dre, started fucking with G Unit and 50 Cent, started fucking with the game. These guys got fame simply because of who they were associated with, believe it or not. Because there's people, it's arguable, but there's people who listen to Eminem that would have never listened to any of these other guys if not for Eminem. Believe that. So you can sit there and think that everything would be okay if we erase white people out of rap. But imagine, let's look at it from another perspective. Imagine if the United States erased all the black people from United States history. If all the black people were somehow in Africa and they never came and took slaves, or black people would have made it here anyway, but let's say they didn't. Let's say no Indians, let's say white people, straight white people in the United States. Could you imagine what the United States would look like right now today if it had not been for people who were not white that made contributions to the growth of this country. I look at hip hop the same way. If hip hop was not inclusive, could you think of where it would be? Do you think you guys who are on your podcast or your little blogs and we would be okay without white artists or white people in hip hop? Do you not understand your platform is gone? Because believe me, between your platform being created, see, now you yourself, you might have only dealt with people of color to get to your point, but for the shit that was there for you to get there, the road that was built for you to get there, it was some white people involved. So if we're not involving white people in hip hop at all, we're not involving white people in hip hop at all. So that means we would have to build our own internet platform. We would have to actually build our own internet. How do we do that? It already exists. So all you guys who are talking and not thinking rationally, that's something for you to think about. So while you're saying we need to get rid of this person, we need to get rid of that person, what about people who aren't like black, who may appear to be black, but they have white parents or a white parent, like Joyner Lucas or what's his name, J. Cole? What about them? Are they not included, or are they included because they physically appear black? So if you say, okay, they look black, so they're included. What about Logic? Logic's biracial, but he don't look black. So he's disqualified because of how he looked. How fair is that if him and J. Cole are both mixed race, or both biracial? How fair would it be to say, okay, Logic can't because of how he looks? Isn't that crazy? Think about that. And think about the world as a whole, too. Think about the civil rights movement. The reason the civil rights movement was able to move like it was because the involvement of white people. Think about even what happened lately with the Black Lives Matter thing. Do you think without white people that there would have been so much attention paid to this? Fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck no. Look at hip-hop the same way. That's how I look at it. You can feel how you want to feel about those other things, but look at hip-hop as only black artists from the beginning, from the foundation, only black and Latinos. How big would it be? Would it be the global sensation, the monster that it is? Fuck no. And if you say it would, you're just ignorant because you're not looking at the entire picture. So while you're sitting there on your throne, on your little podcast or your blog, and you're feeling bigger than everything, and you got you're worth your little 20 and 30 million, where would that go? Where would that go? You'd be out of work. So you'd wish yourself, because you hate Eminem so much, you would wish the entire culture be blackwashed, and you would wish yourself out of employment. That says more about you than it does about him. That says more about you being prejudiced because they say black people can't be racist, which I kind of understand that because racism requires power. But if you're talking about in hip-hop, black people do have power in hip-hop, so you can be racist in hip-hop. You can be. So if you're running hip-hop, there was never a 5 mic system of the source because Dave Mays ain't black, so he couldn't be involved. A lot of you guys built a platform off DJ Vlad, which I don't like him, but you built your platform off him or that, what is it? The Jumper Show or whatever that is. What is No Jumper or whatever it is? Y'all built platforms off that. That couldn't be. So, wow. So, would white fans also be barred? Because if white fans are barred, your sales are fucked. Remember that. Remember that. Now, one thing I can say, like Lord Jamar, Brand Nubian probably did not sell to a bunch of people who weren't black. But the Godcast, people watch that who aren't black. So because you hate Eminem so much, you're willing to lose your platform, to lose your livelihood, to lose and to be so selfish that the other people who built foundations of their knowledge of or their closeness, their bond with Eminem, you be willing to throw that shit away too. What a fucking moron. But that's just my thought. This is your boy, 6'3" Black Male, and I am out. Let's grow as men. Peace.
Let's network around this motherfucker. Get work, get hurt, trying to flex, get your skirt pulled up. No shit, get your block blowed up. Beneficial since the Cold War. When Russia had missiles, see you suckers in my rear view. Foot down, no floor, windshield clear view. Moving forward in the foreign, yeah, I hear.